What up, people? It is your boy, Mr. Noland again. Alright, on the last video, I made this take-home review for your first test. I am now making the answer key. So here we go. We have -1/8. That fraction cannot simplify to a whole number, so it is rational. I have a decimal. It's a rational number. (23) divided by 1 is 23, but notice it's a negative. So this is a negative whole number, which is an integer. 1,500, that's a whole number. 20 divided by 4 is 5, which is a whole number. 1/4 cannot simplify to a whole number, so it's rational. 21 divided by 3 is 7, which is a whole number. 2.0. Some are saying that's a decimal, so it's rational. That's not right. If you notice, it's just a 0 behind the decimal. Do I really need it? No. It's like the whole number 2. So 2.0 is a whole number. 0 is a whole number. 7.05. This time this is a decimal. It's rational. 29 divided by 2 will not give you a whole number. Therefore, it is rational. -100. That's a negative whole number, so it's an integer. -3.33. It's a decimal, so it's rational. -24 divided by 4 gives you -6, which is a negative whole number, which a negative whole number is a integer. -1.0. Again, it's just like -1. It's an integer. -8 is an integer. 9.00. It's just like the number 9. It's a whole number. -4.00. That's just like -4. It's an integer. So to sum this up, your whole numbers, they're your counting numbers, including 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can have a fraction that simplifies to a whole number. You can have a decimal that is just a whole number. 2.0, 9.00. Those are just whole numbers. Integers are your negative whole numbers. You can have a fraction that simplifies to a negative whole number. You can have a decimal that is just a negative whole number. Your rational numbers are your decimals and your fractions that cannot simplify into whole numbers. Alright, and let's look at the next part of the review y'all took home. Okay, list the numbers in descending order, which means greatest to least. Decimal, decimal, fraction, decimal, fraction. Convert the fractions into decimals. Remember to do that. It is top in, bottom out. 2 cannot go into 1, so add your decimal, add a 0. 2 can go into 10 5 times. So 50.5 is the same as 50.5. This is still 50.84. This is still 50.05. Okay, and now 7/8. Again, top in, bottom out. 8 cannot go into 7. Decimal, 0. 8 goes into 70 8 times. 8 can go into 60 7 times. 8 can go into 40 5 times. Okay, so this is 50.875. Now notice how my last unit or digit is in the thousandth spot. So I'm going to make sure all my other decimals end in the thousandth spot as well. So if there's no number in the thousandth spot, just add a 0. Now on this one, you see how there's a bar over the 5? So that's like 50.555 forever and ever and ever and ever. Okay, now it says to put them in order from greatest to least. If you look at all the whole numbers are the same. So start with the tenths place. 0, that's a 5, that's a 5, that's an 8, and that's an 8. Well, the two largest ones are right here, and they both have the same tenths value. Look at the hundredths value. This one has a 7, this one has a 4, this one is largest, so this is first, this is second. Okay, and now let's look for third. So again, look at the tenths place. This has a 5, this has a 0, this has a 5, this has a 5. So it's between these two. The hundredths place has a 5, this one has a 0. So this is your third biggest, then your fourth biggest, and then your fifth. So if I were to put them in order, it would be 50 and 7/8, followed by 50.84, followed by 50.5 with a bar over it, followed by 50.5, followed by 50.05. This is what I'm looking for. Now number 2 is just like number 1. The only difference is this one said descending, which is greatest to least. This one says ascending, which is least to greatest. Now I'm not going to go over how to convert a fraction to decimal. We already did that, so I'm just going to give you the answers for this one. That's the answer I'm looking for on number 2. And lastly, fractions to decimals. Again, we use Tybo. Top in, bottom out. Top number comes in, bottom number goes out. 8 cannot go into 1. Add your decimal, add a 0. 8 can go into 10 one time. Notice I have a remainder, so add a 0 behind it. 8 can go into 22 times. Again, I have a remainder, so add a 0 behind it. 8 can go into 45 times. Notice I have no remainder left, so that's it. 1/8 is the same as 0.125. Again, let's do top in, bottom out. 5 cannot go into 2, so decimal, 0. 5 can go into 20 4 times. Notice no remainder, so 2/5 is the same as 0.4. This time I have a whole number. The whole number goes up top. And now top in, bottom out, just with the fraction. Can 5 go into 3? No, so you put your decimal behind the whole number, add your 0. 5 can go into 36 times. Notice there is no remainder, so 1 3/5 is the same as 1.6. Now, converting decimals to fractions, it's the number given over the place value of the last digit. I'm going to start with this one. Notice I have a whole number. I'm going to come do this one down here. I have a whole number. Keep it off to the side. Now cover up your whole number. What number is given now? 27. What's the place value of the last digit, which is the 7? That's in the hundredths place. Can that fraction be simplified? No. That's your answer. Okay. Now notice there's no whole number here. So what number is given? 3. What place value is the 3 in? It's in the tenths. So 0.3 is the same as 3/10. Again, no whole number on this one, but what number is given? 125. What's the place value of the last digit, which is the 5? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Okay. Now you're going to have to simplify. Some of y'all can only simplify using smaller numbers. That's fine. But for purposes of this video, I'm going to go with the larger ones. If you notice, it ends in a 5 and a 0. That means they're both divisible by 5. Some of y'all are also saying, well, 25 can go into both of them, which is also correct. But both numbers are also divisible by 125. What's 125 divided by 125? Well, that's 1. How many times can 125 go into 1,000? 8 times. So 0.125 is the same as 1/8. Alright guys, I hope this video helps you guys out. Good luck on your test tomorrow. Alright, bye.